They say real men don't talk. I say they just haven't been asked the right questions. This ain't about trends. It's about truth, about faith that don't fold, love that costs something, and manhood that still means something. I'm not here to argue. I'm here to build. This is the Always Up Podcast, Season 2, Too Real to Win. For the men still trying to love right in a world that loves wrong. It feels loud outside right now. Not noise loud, access loud. Everyone is visible. Nobody is reachable. Everyone has access to attention. Nobody knows what to do with presence. Women everywhere, men everywhere, but nobody feels close. Phones glow, profiles scroll. Attention moves faster than intention. You can be seen without being known, desired without being chosen, followed without being valued. Attention became currency. Connection became luxury. And nobody noticed when the exchange rate flipped. A woman can wake up, post a picture, and the world shows up. A man can wake up, open his wallet, and hope that counts as presence. That's not dating. That's a marketplace pretending to be romance. Conversation has a cover charge now. Access got easier, commitment got expensive, and nobody wants to admit that's not freedom. Connection comes with a receipt, and intimacy gets negotiated before it's even earned. Nobody calls it transactional, but everybody knows the price. No one taught us this. We just woke up inside it. Men learned to lead with money because presence stopped working. Women learned to withhold access because access stopped meaning anything. Not because either side is shallow, because the system trained them to survive this way. Not evil, not broken, just trained. Trained to confuse options with power and loneliness with independence. And somewhere in the middle of all this noise, a quiet question keeps showing up. If women don't need men anymore, why does everything feel so transactional? Because when value gets replaced by visibility, every relationship starts sounding like a negotiation. We'll get there. But first, we need to talk about what was taken out of the room before we ever blamed each other. And later in this conversation, there's another truth waiting for us, one nobody wants to admit. If connection keeps getting thinner, while access keeps getting easier, we might not be suffering from too little love at all. We might just be overdosing on access. We'll come back to that. Here's where the story gets misunderstood. Women didn't become unapproachable. They became overexposed. When access is unlimited, selectiveness feels like power. When attention is constant, silence starts to feel like control. So men adjusted, not because they're weak, because they're observant. They noticed presence stopped opening doors, so they tried provision. They noticed effort stopped getting noticed, so they tried convenience. Money became conversation, access became leverage, and nobody wants to admit that's not chemistry. I heard a 21-year-old woman say it casually once. She wasn't angry. She wasn't joking. It's harder to get a woman to notice me. Men are easy. And what she meant was simple. Attention made men abundant before it ever made women selective. Abundance didn't empower women. It diluted men. Women didn't design the system. They just learned how to survive inside it. If men were truly easy, commitment wouldn't feel rare. If access was the same as security, so many relationships wouldn't feel empty. Attention teaches confidence, but it doesn't teach discernment. Followers don't equal foundation. Validation doesn't equal stability. And 100,000 eyes don't help you choose wisely. So the culture lied to both sides. It told women independence meant never needing anyone. It told men value meant what you could provide, not who you are. And now, we're surprised the room feels tense. This isn't about men being intimidated, and it's not about women being entitled. It's about a system that taught both sides to misread power, misprice intimacy, and confuse options with freedom. And once that confusion sets in, everyone starts protecting themselves. Men retreat, women guard access, and the space where partnership used to live gets real quiet. We're not done yet, because before we talk about what women think they don't need, we have to talk about what men were quietly removed from. And that's where this conversation turns. Here's the part nobody wants to say out loud. Visibility changed the rules, but business changed the incentives. Social media didn't just give people a voice, it gave attention a price tag. Now everything looks like opportunity, but most of it is overhead. A profile turns into a brand, a body turns into leverage, a conversation turns into a funnel, and suddenly attraction isn't about connection anymore. It's about conversion. Pay culture didn't make women shallow. It made everything negotiable. Time, attention, access. Some people call it empowerment. Accountants call it a subscription model. But here's what gets missed. Monetizing desire takes work. Real work. You don't just post and win. You manage perception. You manage emotion. You manage demand. Everybody says secure the bag until they realize the bag requires customer service. That's not freedom. That's labor. Short-term wins look powerful, but they don't build long-term safety. Clout fades, algorithms move on, and attention never sticks around long enough to become trust. Independence sounds different when it comes with content deadlines. Men see this and pull back, not because they're intimidated, because they're tired of paying just to be seen. Women feel this and double down, not because they're cold, because the system taught them visibility equals value. And now both sides are confused. One side thinks independence means never needing help. The other thinks provision is the only language left. But neither of those builds partnership, because business logic works in markets, not in intimacy. And the moment love starts sounding like a transaction, everybody loses leverage. A generation that monetizes desire eventually forgets how to receive love. Not yet, but eventually. This is where it gets quiet. Not awkward quiet, honest quiet. The kind of silence that shows up after the talking stops and the truth still doesn't leave. Because underneath the trends, under the money talk, under the confidence posts and the independent slogans, most people aren't confused. They're tired. Men are tired of feeling optional. Women are tired of feeling guarded. Nobody says that part out loud. Instead, we debate roles. We argue timelines. We post quotes that sound strong so we don't have to admit what feels weak. Confidence became the uniform. Vulnerability stayed at home. But here's the part that doesn't fit the narrative. Most women don't want to be unreachable. They want to feel safe being chosen. Most men don't want to dominate. They want to feel needed without being used. That's not old school thinking. That's human thinking. Somewhere along the way, strength got confused with distance. Independence got confused with isolation. And now people are standing 10 feet apart asking why it feels cold. You don't miss someone you never needed. And you can't build partnership with people trained to protect themselves first. This isn't about going backward. It's about remembering what we skipped. Because before algorithms, before platforms, before monetized attention, men and women still had to sit across from each other and decide if they were willing to try. No audience, no leverage, no exit strategy, just presence. And that's the part we haven't figured out how to recreate yet. Here's the reset. Not a rollback, not a nostalgia tour, a recalibration, because the truth is we don't need less independence. We need better alignment. Men aren't obsolete. They were interrupted. Women aren't confused. They were over-incentivized. This system didn't remove desire. It redirected it toward visibility, toward leverage, toward short-term wins that look powerful but don't build anything that lasts. Because everybody adapted too well. Adaptation without alignment always looks like progress at first. Survival skills don't automatically become relationship skills. We optimized for independence and forgot interdependence requires practice. Some of us got really good at surviving and accidentally terrible at choosing. That's not failure. That's training doing this job. The reset starts here. Men stop auditioning. Presence comes back before provision. Women stop mistaking access for power. Discernment comes back before demand. Not because anyone is wrong, because the incentives were, we don't need to undo progress. We need to reintroduce order. order doesn't mean control. It means roles that make sense again. Not rigid, not scripted, but intentional. Masculinity doesn't disappear when women rise. It clarifies. Femininity doesn't weaken when men lead. It steadies. Somewhere along the way, we confuse being needed with being useful and being chosen with being convenient. Neither is supposed to carry everything alone. Partnership isn't about dependence. It's about direction. Two people facing the same way instead of negotiating against each other. That's the reset. Not louder, not softer, aligned. So, do women need men anymore? That question makes people uncomfortable. Not because it's rude, because it forces honesty. The real answer isn't yes or no. It's timing. You don't need someone when you're still proving something. You need someone when you finally know who you are. Men aren't here to be wallets. Women aren't here to be options. That whole arrangement was temporary. It just stayed too long. We didn't lose love. We delayed it with options. We mastered access. Nobody taught us how to sit still. We don't need to go backward. We don't need to pretend nothing changed. We need to remember that independence was never the destination. Partnership was. Two whole people, not competing, not performing, not negotiating, choosing. And if this generation feels confused, it's not because love disappeared. It's because we replaced connection with access and called it progress. Which brings us to the next conversation. Because if everything feels transactional now and intimacy feels cheaper than ever, what happens when there's too much sex and not enough meaning? That's next. Thanks for listening. If this episode hit home, share it with somebody who needs to hear it. This season, Too Real to Win, is for the men still trying to love right in a world that loves wrong. No clout, no gimmicks, just truth. I'm Brian B. Turner, and this is the Always Up podcast. Until next time, stay focused, stay faithful, and always up.